Okay, I'm Will Morton with Brightview Landscapes. We're going to explain this ESP RainBird Controller, and here's where we'll start with the zones. This operates the zones around the building. They will start here on the north side with number 1, work around the east side, down to the south, and back to the west side with 12 zones. The first 7 zones will be pop-up spray type heads, and the last 5 zones, 8 through 12, will be drip type zones. They will be wired. These wires will be wired into these zones. Something very important, the electricity for this controller is coming from a panel in the building, which is panel HLA circuit number 19. In case you ever have to turn the power off here to replace a component. Now the basic operation of the controller is this. Obviously auto for automatic operation. Now to program the controller, you want to tell the controller basically what days of the week you want to water, what time of the day or night you want it to start, and then how long for each zone to stay on. So what we can do here is just kind of make a little mock setup that will be similar to what it would be when we're ready to physically turn the zones on. Okay, so when we're in auto for automatic operation, we'll just go through these areas here. The screen will show you what we want to do, but you, for example, come to the right, set the current day. It is correct, but you have a plus, minus, back up a screen or to the next screen to tell it whatever you want it to do. What is highlighted in this case, so you can change the day up or down. Same thing, go next, you can change the month. Next, change the year. Now once that's set, see, it'll keep coming back to where if you want to change, because we're in that, it only sets the date. The next one, set our current time. I believe that is correct. No, it is not. So our time, see, it's highlighted here, so plus or minus, we are at 10. Next. Up or down for our current time of day. 11:15. Next, we are AM, so we won't change that. Next. So now we've got our time and our current day and month set. Now this is non-volatile, so it's going to hold this. Even if it loses power and comes back, it will hold that memory. Now the basic setting for the controller is you want to tell it what time you want it to come on, and we'll tell it what days of the week we want it to come on, and then we'll tell each station how long to stay on. So to do that, here we go. Now our start time. It's not set at all. Let's just say we want to come on at 2 a.m. We'll just let it go up to 2 a.m. The longer you hold it down, the faster. It'll slowly keep getting faster and faster. So there you go. Now you have a start time to tell the system what time to start. If you wanted to come on more than one time, maybe early morning, maybe middle of the day, so you could go to a second one, or a third, or a fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. You could have each program come on as much as 8 different times in a 24-hour period, which is very unlikely. So we're going to have it come on at 2 a.m. Now we're going to flip the dial and we're going to tell it what days we want to water. There are other options, but for now, for basic programming, we'll tell it what days. And in this case, we want to water Monday. See, it's either allow it to water or prevent it from watering. It's naturally in the prevent stage. We're going to allow Monday to water. So Tuesday, for whatever reason, we don't want to water. We'll leave it in the prevent. Maybe Wednesday we want to water. So you can do this any day you want. We'll skip Thursday and Friday, and just for fun, we'll have it come on Saturday. So now we've told the controller what days to come on and what time to start the cycle. Now we need to go and tell each station how long to run. And you have to do this for each and every zone. In this case, there's 12 zones. You're going to go through each one independently. For this, station 1, Here, so you can change your station. You don't necessarily have to go in order, whatever zones you want. But when you have your station, now you're going to pick how long it stays on. And you're going to do that with each one. The first 7 zones will be probably in the 15-minute range because they're pop-up spray zones. So if you skip on up, then for example, number 8, that would be on the west side of the building, the drip zones. Drip zones typically water for more like 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the soil, which is something that's going to have to be figured out. But we'll call it the average for now. You can do this for 4 programs. We're on program A. If you wanted all these zones to come on in water, let's say at 2 o'clock in the morning like we programmed it, but then you wanted them to come on a little differently for half that much time, for example, on a completely different time like at 7 p.m. you would go to program B. You could do this all over again for different times and different days. But as long as you're on the program we set, exactly what we programmed for a 2 a.m. start time on a Monday, Wednesday, and I believe we set Saturday for 15 minutes on the zone, or 45, that's exactly what it'll do, and only that. If you wanted to do something entirely different, or maybe even one particular zone to run different, you could set it on a different program. Then you can have a whole new watering window. The rain sensor, you can bypass it. It's going to water, rain or shine. As long as it's inactive, you get rain, the rain sensor is going to shut the system off. And that's the basics. We can get us some other test features, but we really need all the zones wired up and all to run to do that. For example, you could go down to test all the zones. If you go down the screen, you could go to test the zones. It's set for a basic 2-minute test, but you can change that to whatever you want to be, like a 1-minute run test, and then hit run. It will start the zones and run through every one just to test them to make sure they're operational. In this case, none of them are wired up. It's not going to go anywhere. Once you've adjusted whatever programming you want, you go back to auto and it's going to do that program. Now see, we just did a test and it's on 1, so that's what it's telling you. It's trying to water station 1 right now because we did a test. So it's going to tell you in the auto window if anything is happening. You can go to off, which is rather obvious. It just shuts everything down, like hurricane times. Right in the screen, on the main screen. See, you don't see it, but if you go to off, you have a contrast. Contrast can turn the light. See, this number here can turn the lighting up, the contrast in the screen. Back to auto for your watering. That's the basics of it there.